Put your money intact, put your money intact. Invest and show that your money come back. Put your money intact, put your money intact. Invest and show that your money come back. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack. One child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack. Become financially free. Join the abundance community, diaspora city. Yeah, we got global accessibility. Your future, your currency. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack. One child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack. Become financially free. Join the Abundance Community Diaspora City. Contact our website or social media for more info. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack. One child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack.
Welcome, Tiashans, to this really important training. Before we go any further, I want to say congratulations to my Deputy Director, Mr. Joel Carr, on his new appointment as Executive Director for the Caribbean, North and Central America. Mr. Carr, warm congratulations to you. You were made for this time, and with you, the sky is the limit. We are so blessed by you. We are so blessed by your presence, and we are so blessed by the many words of wisdom that you impart to us every week. So congratulations to you.
Thank you, Director.
You're very welcome. Before we go any further, as you know, we always start off training with a motivation, 2-minute motivation to get us going. And this is so important. And so today I want to call on the National Executive Coordinator of Jamaica, Mr. Ainsley Brown, to lead us in this direction. Mr. Brown?
Hello, family. Hello, family. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am excited to be here this afternoon, and I am, just elated. In a few months, we'll be having our launch. So this afternoon, I just want everybody just to close their eyes and just imagine in less than 2 months, we'll have in our launch. What would you want that to be? Um, what would you want that to be, and where would you want it to be? See, we can be here today and we can imagine what price we want TAC to be, but some people are looking at it right now. TAC is at $16. Some people are looking at TAC is at $10. But today, just use your imagination and understand that today that the sky is the limit to where TAC can go. And as we can hear the words of our leader keep saying to us every day, expand the base, expand the base. That is our motivation. That is our call today, to expand the base and reach for higher heights and deeper depths while we move forward towards our launch. Tiash, and the time is now. This is your time. This is your moment to get excited because that bell is ringing. So come on, Tiashin. Just clap your hand and sing. One tack, one youth, one child, one tack. God bless everyone.
Amen. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Wonderfully said. Thank you. And now, without further ado, I want to welcome and introduce the facilitator of our training session today. And he is Mr. Raymond Wallace. And the topic for today is money mindset, how money works. And this is a timely and important training on financial management because as we make our money, we need to manage it wisely. So again, as I said in the notes I sent out to you this week, the posting that I made, I hope you came with your pen and with some paper that you can take notes. Now, Mr. Wallace is a financial coach. He's the regional vice president at Primerica, and he has been in the financial field for over 20 years. He is insurance and investment licensed, and he is a big believer of building generational wealth. Mr. Wallace, we thank you for coming here to share your expertise with us, because a lot of us need guidance where financial management is concerned. And so we are here waiting to learn from you. Thank you again for coming. Mr. Wallace, the floor is yours.
Thank you all so much, and thank you. Honored to be on your call today. Thank you, Delia, Ainsley, for having me. The TSC community, the abundance community. Thank you so much, CEO, for having me on this call. It's an honor, and I don't take it lightly. So I'm just going to cover a few things with you. Let me just share my screen. Do this right. Let's see here. Tell me if you can see my screen here.
We can see it. Well, we could see it a while ago. We can no longer see it now.
Okay, no problem. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now. Yes.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can. We can. I'm seeing 5. Do this immediately when sciatica. Is that what you have?
Okay, yeah, no problem. So below this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off. I can't see myself. I'm going to start off with this this article that was in the Wall Street. And the reason for this is because one of the reasons that I'm on this call is that, because of the success you guys are having and you're going to have in the future, as you come into to money, you're going to have to change. Sometimes you have to change your lifestyle a little, or your lifestyle, you get forced to change lifestyle. So I would just want to just read this article to you before I get started on my part. Okay. It says, I'm 40 years old, earning $500,000 a year, but have nothing left at the end of the month. How do I get off the hamster wheel? If you go down here, it's 40-year-old lawyer from Chicago making $500,000 a year, purchased a $4 million home, put on 20%, drives a luxury car, paid $150,000 in this country club, and has no savings. And right down on the bottom, we can actually kind of stop the presentation right here if we wanted to, because it says here, what are some of the things that you need to change? One is maybe he shouldn't have a $4 million mortgage. The other one, does he really need to belong to a country club? The other one is that he's got luxury cars. That means that comes with car payments, maintenance, and insurance. He travels a lot, right? So does he do all of those things? He needs to create a budget and track his spending. He needs to prioritize his savings and investing, and he needs to avoid lifestyle inflation, which means that as your income goes up, you buy more things. And fifth, he needs to seek professional guidance, right? So that alone gives you the basis for some other things. So now, are you guys seeing this one as well?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
great.
we can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my information, my contact information. And let me just put some disclosures in here before I get started. Because we have people from all over the different countries, we have different people from different states. So my disclosure here is this is not an endorsement of anything, and this is also not a solicitation. This is based on finances in general, and it doesn't matter where you live. I think all of these factors come into play. So let me move on to the next slide. We're going to talk a little about how money works, and we're going to keep it very simple, right? And these are some of the topics that I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover all of them or get into full detail, everything. I'm going to hit the major ones that I think are more important, and we can always do Q&A later on. So taking control, paying yourself first, paying off your debt, having home ownership, discovering the rule of 72, buying the right insurance, tax different accounts, becoming an owner, not a loaner, and investing in professional money management. So let's get started here. First of all, I think people, from my experience, many people have a challenge with success or having funds. I think sometimes people think having funds meaning you have to show it. And you'd be amazed about the amount of wealthy people that I meet with that drive rental cars. You never know that they're wealthy. So if you look over here at this presentation, it says, you have the power to become financially independent. You don't make a six-figure income to become financially independent. And also, what is financial independence to you? Financial independence to me was having a situation where nobody could ever put their thumb on me anymore. That was financial independence to me. Right? You don't have a huge salary. And you don't have to receive a large inheritance or win the lottery, even though that helps, right? That's the reason for this call. So the first thing you have to do is you have to learn how to take control. So what are you taking control of? First of all, and we're going to cover some of these things, you have to learn how to pay yourself first, meaning that we pay all the bills. Most people pay all the bills, and at the end of the month, you have more money left and no more money. You should be the first bill. Even if it's only 1% of your salary, 10% of your salary, you pay on the first of the month, you pay yourself first, right? You should know your financial independence number. And what number are you trying to hit to become free? And free is different things to different people. You need to adjust your priorities, change your thinking, adjust your lifestyle, earn additional income if that's sufficient, that's something that you need, realign your assets, avoid the credit card trap, because that's a big one that eats us alive all the time, and set your goals and have a plan. Right? So let's talk about paying yourself first. Like I said before, you have to treat yourself as a bill, just like your car payment, your mortgage payment, your credit card payment, you're a bill. And if you're working hard and at the end of the month you have no more money left, you try to figure to yourself, why am I even working? So you always have to make sure that you have something saved for you. That way you feel good about why you're working. You should have 3 different accounts set up. What are some of the accounts that you should have set up? You should have an emergency account. Why do you need an emergency account? Because I know in the United States here, most people have an emergency account, but the emergency account they have is their credit card, right? So you need to have an emergency account just in case your car breaks down, your fridge goes, your boiler goes, right? You have a challenge with your roof. You need to have an emergency fund. You also need to have something short term. What's short term? 3 to 5 years worth of savings, right? You need to have 3 to 5 years worth of savings just in case you think about taking a vacation. You're thinking about putting a down payment down on a home. And you need to have a wealth building account, because at some point in your life, you want to be free. You want to be able to retire, or if you're younger, be semi-retired. The power of home ownership. This is huge. Again, in the United States, so in the United States, we talk about, wealth and net worth and the wealth gap. And one of the biggest wealth gap that we have is home ownership, right? And why is that? Because if you look on my chart here, you see, this is just an example of somebody buying a home for $250,000, and the average home appreciates. I know, unless you're flipping homes, people think your house appreciates big time, but realistically, most homes only appreciate about 5%. But even 5% over a period of time, that house is went from $250,000 to $900,000. Now, why is home equity so important, and why is home ownership so important? Because home ownership gives you that it fills that gap. It fills that gap for you. At the same time, too much house can be a burden, because all your money goes into your house and you have nothing left, then that's not good either, because all your money's within your house and you're living above your means. So you need to have a balance there. So why is home ownership important? To me, home ownership is more important than ever.
Okay, we seem to have lost some connection. I guess he will be back very soon.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be on soon. But so far, it's been really nice.
Yes,
Some helpful stuff.
exactly.
Taking notes.
Yeah, yep,
And,
yes.
and some of it is what
Here he
is
is.
that? All right,
Yes.
awesome.
Oh, he left again. Let's be the internet. He is there.
Let's see if he's
Okay.
back.
Yeah, he's back.
He
Yes, Mr.
said
Wallace
he
is
can
back.
speak a while ago, so I gave him that permission. Yeah, he's back. You're still muted, Mr. Wallace.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can.
For some reason, I got muted there. Okay. So let me share my screen again.
Okay. So we lost you when you started speaking about the importance of home ownership.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, it's green though.
Okay, can you see it now?
No, it's still green.
Oh, what are we doing here? That's wrong. Hold on. I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. We get these things sometimes. So that's quite fine.
So make sure it's not me. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again. You can hear me pretty well, right?
Yes, you're very, very clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to screen share again.
It's still, actually, you are still screen sharing. So maybe you might have to stop and start it again because you still have a screen open that's green.
Okay. Stop sharing.
Okay, you're sharing again. It's still,
Okay.
it's just green. So we're not seeing what you're sharing. Maybe it might help. Maybe try turning off your video, maybe the bandwidth. It's taking up too much bandwidth. So maybe if you turn off your video and then share screen again, let's see if it's going to show.
Okay, can you say anything now?
No, it's still green. So let's say stop sharing and then do it again. Let's see if it's going to do it now. Now that the video is off. Okay, your video is on again. So
Okay, any luck there?
no, I'm still your video is on and all we're seeing is you. So
My
Yeah,
visual.
now you see your screen now.
We see your screen, but it's green.
I'm trying to figure out why that is.
We're seeing your screen now.
Okay, we seeing your screen now. Yep, we seeing.
Okay. Okay. So, but you're not seeing my presentation.
Not yet. We just seen different screens.
Okay, so let me bring it back up and see if that works. Okay. Now you see anything now?
Yes, we're seeing something now. Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
All right, I'll speed up a little just in case.
Okay.
All right, so we talked about home ownership. Why is that good? You build equity in your home. There's tax advantages to write-offs, right? Home ownership, gives you the ability to, pay yourself instead of paying somebody else. It also has an emotional benefit. I remember, my neighbor, when I bought my house, he was renting across the street, and he was cleaning out his car and dropped trash on the floor in front of my house, and my wife went out and told him to pick it up. And, he felt insulted by that. And then I realized that a couple months later, he bought a house, and in front of his house was clean, right? So home ownership is such a big thing. And also it gives you stability. The power of the rule of 72. This is probably the most important concept that we're going to speak about, right? The rule of 72. Now, everybody can hear now?
Yes.
Okay, this is important. You need to write this down. This is every day you're going to play the money game. And the rule of money is the rule of 72. Just like if you play soccer, if you play basketball, you need to do a rule. The way the rule works is that the rule says whatever interest rate you get on your money, divide it into the number 72, and it tells you how many years it takes for the money to double. Meaning that if you get 3% on your money, like in this example, 3 goes into 72, 24 times. That means every 24 years, your money is going to double at 3%. So figure out how much money you have saved and add 24 years onto your age. At 3%, $10,000 in 48 years doubles twice, so it's $40,000. If you double the interest rate from 3 to 6, the money to 10 grand doubles every 12 years now. So you double the interest rate, but you quadruple your money. And at 12%, your same 10 grand becomes 2.5 million. You have to ask yourself, when I go to the bank, why is the bank's furniture always better than mine? Right? And the reason is because you're paying for it. Because banks are not getting 12%, they're getting 20% and 30% on credit cards right now. Now, if the average person, I know the average person that I speak to, who's not financially okay, they got their money sitting in the bank at 1% right now. And if you divide 1 to 72, it's going to take them 72 years for their money to double one time. How powerful is the rule of 72? And so you try to realize why are more people retiring with no money? Is because nobody ever taught them the rule of 72. Because if you're putting away money, you want to get a better return. And if you're borrowing money, you want to get a less rate of return. So this rule of 72, if you can, take a picture of this, because this is probably the most important thing that anybody's going to tell you about money. And it's that simple. So let's look at a couple of factors. If you use bucks every month, over a 10-year period, if you average about 9% on your money, and I'll show you a way to get that, right? Over a 10-year period, it's 19 grand. Over a 4-year period, that's $471,000, right? The other one is, look, if you put away $100 a month at different interest rates, one of the challenges that I have with money is that money is not tangible, right? So if I ask somebody, look, if you have a $200 a month and you want to buy a BMW, you want to put it away. Most people would say, I want to buy the BMW. Why? Because you can ride in the BMW. You can bring your friends to play music. You can touch it. Where when it comes to money, you can't really touch that money. You can't really see it grow. But if you put it on paper and show how it's going to compound, then people would say, you know what, I'm going to forego the BMW and buy myself a Hyundai and save the difference. And in a couple of years, I'll be able to buy multiple BMWs. Right? So let's look at savings and investing, right? You'll have the most success growing your wealth when you have a mix of accounts from high to low risk, as well as a mix of short-term and long-term, right? In general, you should save, preserve your money and invest to grow. So what do? You save in the bank to preserve, but you invest if you want your money to grow over a period of time. Buying the life insurance, right? I'm not going to give you an insurance class because we have people from different countries, different areas, but here's the way you need to think about insurance, right? Because everybody should have life insurance, I feel. How much is your car worth? Do you insure it? How much is your house worth? Do you insure it? How much is your life worth? Probably a lot more than your car or your house. Can you afford not to insure your life? And then how much do you have? You should have anywhere from 8 to 10 times your income. That's a good rule of thumb. If you love your family when you're alive, you should make sure that you take care of them in case you're not here anymore and keep that love going. The other topic is deferring your taxes, right? Again, we have people from different countries here, but in this country, we have, retirement plans. We used to have pension plans that if you work for the government or you work for a company, they said, hey, you were such a great asset to our company, we're going to give you a guaranteed income for the rest of your life. That no longer happens in a lot of companies here. There's something called a 401k plan or a 403b or a deferred comp, but there's some things that people have that they can do for themselves in the US. One is that there's something called a traditional IRA. Now, most people don't realize that everybody qualifies for an IRA, but not everybody qualifies for the deduction. So there's an IRA that's tax deductible, and the one that we recommend the most is something called a Roth IRA, because a Roth IRA is tax-free. It's tax-free for you when you pull your money out, and it's tax-free for your beneficiaries when they take their money, if something happens to you. And for the rest of the families out there, the 401k plan, which is a retirement plan that's sponsored by most companies, some of those companies match dollar for dollar or 50 cents on the dollar. And I find there's a lot of families that don't participate in their 401k plan that's being matched. And I have to talk to them and say, look, what is their problem? The company is giving you 50 cents on the dollar. That's a 50% return on your money. Where do you go and get 50% return guaranteed? If it comes giving you a dollar for dollar match, that's 100% return. And that's before the government gives you a 20% deduction. So if you have a retirement plan, you have to take advantage of these things. Become an owner, not a loaner. What does that mean? Right? You guys are talking about the coins that you have right now, and you guys are going to be building wealth in the future. That's the goal. So this is perfect because you guys are not doing this. Most people, they take their money and give it to the middleman. Who's the middleman? The banks, the companies, the credit unions. And they take your money and invest it in the economy and they make all the money. So our goal is, why don't you cut out the middleman? You all are doing that right now. You're cutting out the middleman and maxing out what you can do for yourself by investing. When it comes to savings, there's something called a three-legged stool. Again, in this country, I know other countries have different things, but in this country, there's something called Social Security, where you pay into a fund. The government says when you retire at age 66, 67, and it's continuing to go up, they're going to give you a guaranteed income to offset your retirement. There's pension plans that the companies have, right? That's going to guarantee you something, and your personal savings. Well, right now, this is pretty much gone, unless you work for the federal government, and this one is in jeopardy. So the one that you have to focus the most on is your personal savings. That's why it's so important that you pay yourself first. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to realize, what's my financial independence number? And the financial independence number can't be $100,000 or $200,000 if you don't have Social Security pension. It's going to be a couple $100,000. Now, we spoke about, where do you get these different rates of return? Well, if you look at history and where, returns, if you look at investing $10,000, 1993 to 2023, if you invested in the S&P 500, which is roughly the top 500 companies in this country that people do business with, the UPS, the Visa, MasterCard, which works in every country, your 10 grand would grow to 181,000. If you invested in bonds, 36,000, you would average about 4%. Your mutual fund would average over 10. If you invested in the government bonds, you'd average 2%. That your money would have grown to 19,000. But inflation averages roughly, I know it's been high for the last couple of years, but inflation averages about 3%, roughly. On here, it's averaging 2.5 based on these numbers. That means your money, your 10,000 would have to have grown to 21,000 to have an impact. But if you're just putting money in the bank and the bank is giving you 1%, or you're investing in just T-bills, you've actually lost money. That's why you have to learn about what's the alternative to just saving money. Why do I have to invest? Because you need to beat inflation. Investing in professional money management.
Trainer. Hello? Excuse me.
Yes.
Mr. Wallace? Yes,
Yes.
I'm just going to stop the recording and start it again. So give me 1 second.
Okay. Right? Echo in the back.
Is somebody, please mute your microphone.
Okay, great. Yeah, so what most people have in their retirement accounts are something called mutual funds. And mutual funds, basically what it is that it's from Jamaica. And in Jamaica, we have partner. And in partner, I know some companies have Susu and different names. But what it is that a company takes your money, just like in partner or Susu, they give it to the banker, and the banker takes it and gives their hand to somebody. Well, what happens with the mutual fund, it works the same concept, where there's a lot of different people that's pooling money in because a lot of people is not wealthy. They give it to the banker, which is the mutual fund company, and the mutual fund company takes it and divvies up to different companies within the mutual fund. And at the end of the quarter or the end of the month, they take that money and they divvy it back to the shareholders. So that's what a mutual fund is. And in most of the retirement accounts, like I ask people all the time, who did you allocate, or do you know anything about a mutual fund? They go, no, I don't know nothing about a mutual fund. Well, it's in your portfolio. It's already in your 401k plan. Everything in your 401k plan, your 403b or mutual funds. And the benefit of having a mutual fund, because you're investing in different companies, like Procter & Gamble, that owns Dawn and Gillette and Crest, Microsoft, that's all over the world, Pfizer, that makes all these different drugs, McDonald's, that's global, Amazon, you're invested in so many different companies where if you did it yourself, you may not have the funds. But if you got $50 a month from most companies, you can do a mutual fund and have your money diversified, just like it's here. Right? And what's the benefit of investing? Right? Or what's the benefit of having a mutual fund? Because if you say, okay, well, I made a bunch of money and I need to recoup some of that money out and put it somewhere else, why would a mutual fund be the best place to put it, or one of the places as an option? Why? Because it's diversification, right? There's also dollar cost averaging, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, right? And you have to make sure you have discipline. In order for you to grow your funds, things are going to go up and down. But in order for you to grow your funds, you got to be disciplined, because you have to have a game plan and know what the outcome of the game plan is going to be. And no matter what happens, that's your focus, right? They say when you're driving a car and you're skidding on snow, right, or in the rain, look where you want the car to be, and that's where you steer. The other one is that, who do you think earns more money? If you're going to invest in a market that goes straight up or one that goes down and comes back up, most people say, well, you know what, Ray, I want to invest in a market that continues to go up. But let me show you something. Whenever you're investing, especially like in mutual funds, I think about mutual funds almost like in real estate. in real estate, the number one objective in real estate, if you're an investor, is to have apartments. The more apartments you have, the more rent you collect. Now, if you want your real estate to go up all the time, you want it to go up because it looks good on paper. If you're an investor, you want it to go up, then go down, and go back up, and go back down. Because at least every time it goes up, you know what the high point is. Every time it goes down, you know you can pick up more apartments because it's cheaper. So if you look at this example here, you have two people putting away $100 every month, investor A and investor B. If you ask most people, if they're going to invest money on a monthly basis, where would they want to be? Would they want to be investor A or would they want to be investor B? Most people say, I want to be investor A. But let's look at it. Investor A, because they're putting away $100 every month, if the share price keeps going up, just like in real estate, if the price keeps going up, you're going to pick up less apartments, right? Because one month you bought 10 apartments, the next month you bought 8, then you bought 7, then you bought 5, then you bought only 5. So you've only accumulated 42 apartments. And the average price was $14. But look, you start at 10, went down and went back to 10, never passed 10. Look, you got 10 shares, then you went to 7, you bought 14, then 25, then 50, then 16, then back to 10. Your average cost was only $4, but you bought 125 units. That means your value of your account is $1,200. So most people want their statements to look like this, but you want the market to go up and down. So you can pick up more shares. Just like if you're investing in real estate, you want to pick up more apartments. Right? And then the number one thing, and I'm going to close out with this, because I know we went through this pretty fast, is I find you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because when you come to wealth and you have wealth, and if you're not grounded, what you do is that, and there's nothing wrong with having good things, right? Because they say you need what? Food, shelter, and transportation. And there's different kind of foods, there's different kind of homes, and there's different kind of transportation. But what I find is that if you're not grounded and you come into wealth, you're always chasing something that's never going to be fulfilling. Once you buy a big car, you realize, oh, it's just another car. And you want to buy another car. It's not fulfilling. So you have to know that you're worth it and you're wealthy inside. So that when you start building wealth, there's nothing on the outside that can bother you, because if you want to have a minimum life, you're going to be happy. And if you want to have a grandeur life, you're also going to be happy. But it all starts with you. Now, just to close out, our company that I represent, again, this is not a solicitation, but just to let you know who we are as a company. Our company, we're part of the Fortune 1000. We've won the Double Award for investments and customer first service mutual funds for the last 20 years now. AM Best. We're one of the best places for employment for diversification, one of the best places for women to work. We were voted in 2002 the number one most trustworthy life insurance company and the number 3 most trustworthy financial services company, only beaten by a company called Vanguard, which is owned by their shareholders, and USAA, which is a service to the military. So it's hard to beat them. But our company as a whole, we're called Primerica. We used to be owned by Citigroup, which is Citibank at one point, until we decided we're going to leave and go on our own. And we do life insurance. In case anybody passes away too soon, make sure we protect them. We do mortgages in some areas of the country. We do auto, homeowners, renters insurance, and business insurance. We do investments, whether it be college planning, emergency fund, when somebody gets laid off, rollovers, right? Or just educating. I love educating people, because education builds a foundation that you can pass on to the next generation. And we don't have enough of that going around right now, right? We have a legal division. And the legal division is basically, we find a lot of clients want to have wills. I depend on where you are, you know, you need something written to say who's gonna have my assets, who to take care of my children. Because when I ask families, do you have a will? Most people say they don't have a will, but you do have one. Because if you don't have something that's written, the government decide what happens to your assets and your family. So you do have a will by default. By not having one, you do have one. And the other thing you want to talk, maybe thinking about as your money is maybe having a trust. I'm not a lawyer. We do have a prepaid legal service that handles that. But they say, you know, as you build wealth, there's three people you need: a great advisor, a great accountant, and a great lawyer. And that's where the trust will come in. Now, this is the last part of my slide, but this is my contact information. If I can help anybody, as far as, even if we can't help you from a financial standpoint, because maybe I'm not licensed in a particular area, you know, financial knowledge and concepts are pretty general, right? There's bigger numbers or smaller numbers, but it's pretty general. But if I could be of assistance, help you and educate you in any area that I can help with, I'm more than happy to do that. And again, I'm honored to be part of this call and for you guys to give me a few minutes of your ear, listen to what I have to say. And thank you again.
Wow. Mr. Wallace, thank you so much. I have been writing so much. I mean, there is just a wealth of information here. And I'm sure that we have questions, but I want to thank you for imparting your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, so that we can be better financial managers, because we all want to be that. And so I just want to open the floor for questions. And as I said, I made a lot of notes. You made such a very, very, very good point. And I love what you said about build the wealth from the inside. Know that we are wealthy on the inside. I find that was just profound.
That is very important, because I know in a lot of our communities, it seems like more material things makes us feel better sometimes. And if you're confident on the inside, it doesn't matter what happens on the outside.
Exactly.
And also, Adelia, just to put it out there, I mean, whoever's on this call, if they want the presentation that we did, we have an ebook that they can get called "How Money Works." I can send that to them if they also want it as well.
Okay, I think you did send me a copy, so if you want, I can forward that to them as well.
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Okay,
so I do have 3 questions just to clarify. I had never heard of the rule of 72 before. So that is number 1. So I took a picture, and as the rate of return divided by 72 be the number of years it takes for your money to double. So as an example, let's say I have a credit card, and these days the credit card, the rate of interest is so high. So let us just say it's 24%. My credit card, the rate of interest is 24%. Based on that rule of 72, are you saying that it would take 3 years for the amount owed to double?
Exactly. If you don't pay your bill, yeah. Because think about if you have a credit card and you have a $20,000 balance, or even a $10,000 balance, 30% on a monthly basis. How much of that money is going towards the interest, and actually how much is going towards your principal?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that and the challenge that we have is that we have not only are people being taken advantage of or not knowing on the debt side, on the income side, they have their money sitting in the bank account getting 1%, and it takes 72 years for their money to double one time.
Yes.
So think about how old you are. Or now I'm talking about you generically here, Delia. I'm just talking about in general. Think about how old you are and add 72 years onto your age.
I get that now. Okay, my second question, and I believe a lot of people do not have wills. And you mentioned that the importance of having a will. Now, is it necessary for somebody to have a lawyer to have a will? Or can they just get a witness write up something, get it signed, and that would be a will? Would it be recognized?
Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just going off the top of my head. I think it would be recognized as long as that the main one of the basics that you want to have on there is you want to get it notarized.
Okay.
Getting it notarized is a big deal, because even when we do a will for our legal services, when a will comes back, in order for it to be in place and recognized, it needs to be notarized.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
doesn't,
Understood.
it will depend on where you are. It really doesn't cost that much. I mean, if you went to a lawyer, it might be $250. Now you can do wills online now. There's online service for like $80. I know we have a prepaid legal service. We charge $28 a month. And after 2 months of having the will done, you can cancel the service. So having a will, yeah, it's not that as costly as people think it is. But then again, it depends on the assets you have as well.
Okay. And the last question I had is that you said that primarily you deal with insurances. What would you suggest? Because there are term life insurances and whole life insurance, right? What
Right.
would you suggest a person gets? A term life for a particular length of time, or whole life insurance?
Well, it's a catch-22 on our end, because I recommend term insurance. But at the same time, there is a need for whole life insurance. I mean, if somebody's got medical issues in their family, medical problems, and they have a history of that a whole life might be a great venue for them. If somebody can't save, which I can't believe that in this day and age we have electronic transfer, that they can't save, because you can put on electronic draft. But if they can't save, maybe a whole life policy might be beneficial for them. If your assets are huge, like if you're worth over $10 million, maybe the whole life might be great for your estate planning. But for the primary people, if you think about it, when you buy a car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, there is no savings in it. So then why do you have savings in your life insurance? Just buy pure protection and take your money and save it outside, because a lot of the insurance policies that you have, the savings element, if you pass away, the insurance company actually keeps it. You don't get it. And most people don't know that. So my concept is you buy low-cost term insurance, because you need to be properly protected. You need about anywhere from 5 to 10 times your income. You can't buy that in a whole life policy, because a whole life costs about 4 or 5 times more than a term policy. So that's my recommendation, but that's my opinion. You can talk to someone else and they might give you a second opinion. I have to turn on myself.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Okay, Tiashans, any questions of Mr. Wallace, please?
Yes. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Thank you
go
very much.
ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Aki.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Wallace. I really appreciate you coming to the forum. Does your company offer annuities, or can you elaborate on annuities and the benefits of annuities, please?
I can elaborate. We do offer. I can elaborate on a general term, because again, I'm not licensed. I'm your front, and I can't go into full detail because of licensing situations and SEC rules. Annuities are different things to different people now. Annuities used to be very simple, where annuities used to be, for the people that's on the call that don't know what an annuity is. Just think about somebody. I always use the example as a police officer in the United States here. So in the United States, as a police officer, when you're working, they take a certain amount of your income and they throw it into an account. And then when you retire, after 25 or 30 years, they give you a certain amount of money for the rest of your life. Typically, that's what an annuity used to be. But now annuities is that. Annuities can be, protecting. Let's say you want to invest in the market, but you don't want to lose money on the downside. There's annuities that protect your downside now. There's annuities that give you guarantees. There's fixed annuities that give you a certain fixed interest rate for a period of time. So annuities are basically investments. The only reason they're really called annuities from an investment standpoint is because they're sold by insurance companies. But annuities are, depending on the person, annuities are right for some people, and for some people, they're not. And I find sometimes they're not right for the a lot of people, but they still have them because the commissions on annuities are so high that sometimes the salesperson looks the other way instead of giving the client the right product. But it depends on the client and what your goals are.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
Any other questions?
Hi, may I? Hello.
Go
Dean.
ahead. Go ahead, Madam
Hi.
Gloria.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gloria.
So, Mr. Wallace, I would like to find out if, let's suppose we come into, or I come into inheritance or wealth or something, which would you recommend doing first, which is either life insurance, a trust, or what turn to like stocks and bonds? Which one would you, or should we do all?
Well, I think, again, these are all my opinions. So if you talk to somebody else, they might give you another opinion. I think you should do all, because I think whenever you come into wealth, or even before you even come into wealth, you need to put together a game plan. I think you need to think about what are some of your goals are going to be first before you even think about, because I mean, you can invest money, but if you have enough money, then maybe you don't have to invest, right? Depending on how much money you come into. Sometimes peace of mind, right? Peace of mind is, okay, I just came into, I just had a client of mine decide that they didn't want to put a lot of money into investment. They wanted to go to gold. And what the concept behind gold, besides the whole political situation going on, but their concept was, remember when your parents were in the Depression. So everybody's mindset is different. And was that a good choice? Yeah, because gold was going like this out the roof. So you need to have everything, but you need to have the trust. You can put all those things in the trust if you wanted to.
So you recommend do a trust first?
I would talk to your advisor first about that, because I don't know. I don't have your total picture. I would have to see the total picture before I can give you a full recommendation.
Okay. And what would be the cutoff, you think, for life insurance, the cutoff age?
Life insurance doesn't really have a cutoff age per se. I mean, the insurance companies have cutoffs for you, but you don't have necessarily a cutoff age, because it depends on what you're buying the insurance for. If you're younger and you have a family, you're buying insurance to protect your income, right? Then you buy a house, you're buying insurance to protect your income and also your mortgage, right? Okay. When you're older, and if you have enough, if you took out a $500,000 life insurance policy and you have $500,000 saved, you don't necessarily need a life insurance policy anymore because you're self-insured. The only reason you had that $500,000 policy because you didn't have $500,000 in cash. Right now, as you build your assets, you may say, well, you know what? I have a certain amount of assets. I want to make sure that my estate taxes are paid in case anything happens to me. Again, it depends on where you live. There might not be estate taxes. So there's really not an age cutoff, even though there is. It's a matter of, do you actually need to have life insurance? Because most people think they need it, and sometimes they don't really need life insurance.
Well, I tried to get a life insurance for a dependent of mine, an elderly dependent, and the cutoff age was what, 80, I think, or 85.
Yeah, that's usually the going rate, about 80, because you got to think about from a life insurance perspective. Don't think about it as a client. Think about it as if you were the company. Right. Would you insure an 80-year person, and would you collect enough money? Like our company, we have pretty good clients, and last year I think we paid out $1.6 billion. Wow. That's a lot of money on helping people.
Yeah. You see, I wanted to invest in like an end of life, like for expenses, end of life, and the person is over 85.
Well, here's the thing. Usually 80 is usually 85, depending on the company, because there's some companies that do 85. But 80, it might not be worth it based on the cost. So maybe if you have some funds, and again, I don't know your financial situation, but maybe you can prepay,
Right, right.
A lot of funeral homes allow me to do that. So prepaid now for future dollars later on.
Yeah. So that
So
would be
that might be the best bet.
all righty. Well, appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
once you get over 70, life insurance becomes very expensive
Yeah.
from a mortality standpoint.
Okay. Thank
Right?
you. Appreciate it.
Okay, anybody else has a question? Denise Peters, do you have a question? You have unmuted.
Hello?
Go ahead, Mr. Unique Man.
Thank you very much. Please, I want to make inquiry. If the Mali national coordinator is in the platform, the meeting, Mali and Burkina Faso, I would like them to get back to me. I've been trying to get them, their contact, but to no avail.
Mr. Unique Man,
Yeah.
we are asking questions of Mr. Wallace right now. So let's leave that for a little later, please. Okay,
Sorry.
the questions being asked now are of Mr. Wallace. Anybody else has a question for Mr. Wallace? No other questions?
Hello.
Go ahead.
My question is what of we that we are in Nigeria?
Pardon me, I
I didn't hear
get
that.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I said, what of we that we are in Nigeria? How can we do this?
Okay, so he's saying, Mr. Wallace, they live in Nigeria. How can they do all of what you say? Okay.
I can't give you an answer for that, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure how the insurance market is over there, but I'm pretty sure there's an investment market over there. So what I would do is, here's what I tell my kids all the time, right? Because my kids, they always ask me things, and I go, "What's wrong with you guys? You're more tech savvy than me. I'm using your Apple phone for games and Google everything." And every time they ask me a question, guess what I do? I Google it. So you can Google maybe who sells mutual funds in Nigeria. And once you get the answer, make sure you go to a reputable company that does business there. Now, I know Citibank is in every country pretty much, but if you Google whatever you need to do, Google it, and then maybe just Google the biggest company that you feel confident in that particular country, and they probably have an answer for you.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, please?
Oh, can I quickly ask one, please?
Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, so I was trying to find out, and I had different answers about if I need to start a trust, should I do it just with a legal office or the bank? There's a trust department in each of our banks here in Bermuda. So, and there is also law firms that are promoting that they do trust funds. So does the bank have their own legal department, or should I go to a law office instead of going to the bank?
I don't want to give you the wrong answer. I don't know. But I would think that a law firm, that's what they do for a living. At the same time, a lot of times the trust department in a bank is not necessarily, it's more it's more to put the assets in the trust and hold the trust as a custodian compared to actually writing up the trust.
Okay.
Right, so you need somebody to actually write up the trust, like what do you want to put into the trust? You want your kids, who gets what? At what age does your kids get this? Who gets my car, who gets my jewelry? I have $200,000 sitting for my child. She's only 13 years old. When she gets to be 21, who's going to take care of her money? She has to go to school before she gets part of the money. Usually, a lawyer is the one who's going to dictate most of that, and this is my opinion. And the bank is usually the place that you go to actually put the assets in a holding place.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any last questions? Yes, Mr. Victor.
Yeah, good evening, Doctor. Thank you, Ray Wallace, for all you have said. We barely could hear just because of our poor network connectivity. And so far, so good. I will appreciate the effort of our training director and her assistant. Knowing fully too well, they will request for this material and prepare just like they've been doing for other previous training sessions. So we can have our time much later when we download and then we go through them. My little contribution here is to one of the guys who may have asked what we should do in Nigeria, we who are based here. When it comes to insurance, I believe that every nation has their insurance policy. So that of US may not be the same as here in the country, but Citibanks for sure. Citibank operates here in Nigeria. I think one branches in almost Lagos, you have in Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, and even in Anambra here. I don't know if that of Anambra is still functioning or they've closed. So, but there are other plenty of insurance policies that are being run by local commercial banks over here. But one thing is certain is that what Mr. Wallace has said here, don't expect it to see it when you go to First Bank to run your insurance policy, or when you go to Union Bank or AfriBank or Zenith Bank. The varies, okay? But there are insurance policies here because each of the banks operate in line with the standard procedure of Insurance Commission of Nigeria. So that is just my advice for you. So don't take the words of Mr. Wallace to heart that you will get exactly what he's saying, except for those who are offshore in the USDA and its environs that did enjoy most of what he has educated them about. But generally, what I picked is that we should have a good mind towards money, so also money will also have a good present towards us. Thank you.
I agree 100%. Thank you, Victor.
Trainer, I'm just gonna stop the recording and start it again. Go right ahead.
Okay, so let's round up. Any last question? One more, and then we will say thank you.
Go right ahead,
to
Mr. Wallace.
Yes, Mr. Carr, we are going ahead. Yes. Any last question? Okay, Mr. Wallace, we really want to thank you. And I'm glad that you sent me the copy of How Money Works, the PDF, so I can send that to the Tiashans with your approval, because you gave us a wealth of information, and some of it is generic to all countries. I mean, making a will, you coming into money, changing your lifestyle, building wealth from within. All of this is really pertinent to all countries, no matter where you are, home ownership, all of that. So we really want to thank you for imparting your knowledge and taking some time out on a Saturday to come to us. Thank you so much.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for having me. You know, it's always a pleasure to teach and inspire people to go to the next level. And like I said, from a disclosure standpoint, you know, the material that we cover, basically, we're just talking about the United States. And I know there's people from different countries on here, but like you said before, Delia, money concepts are money concepts. Products might be different, but the concepts are the same. Thank you all so much.
Put your money intact, put your money intact, invest and show that your money come back. Put your money intact, put your money intact, invest and show that your money come back. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack, one child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack. Become financially free, join the abundance community, diaspora city. Yeah, we got global accessibility, your future, your currency. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack, one child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack. Become financially free. Join the Abundance Community Diaspora City. Contact our website or social media for more info. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack, one child, one youth, one tack.